Coming to you from Crash Studios in Music City, USA, Nashville. This is the Rich Redmond Show. On this episode, drummer for Country Rockers, Florida Georgia Line, Sean Fuller. And now, Rich Redmond.
What is up, rock and rollers? Yeah, we're already having a great time. This is another episode of the Rich Redmond Show coming to you from Music City, USA. As always, I'm so excited about my guest because I get to share insights and fun stuff, great stories with all these folks that I know in Music City. And you get to, Jim, you get to meet all these great, fun people that come through this place.
I get to bask in their glory.
And I was talking to all my roomies downstairs, and they're like, every great drummer in Nashville is walking through this place, man. It's so great. We get to network. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, right? Handing it to you on a silver platter.
It's crazy. So if people don't know, you, man, are my right-hand man. You're my left-hand man. You're a man about town. You're my co-producer. You're my co-host. You bring a lot to this show, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. We might get in business together. We might get some investment properties.
Real estate.
That might be good.
Yeah,
I don't think it would ruin our relationship.
No.
I don't think we could do that.
It will never happen.
Never.
Yeah, we're going to be like in the nursing home together.
So this is that one part of the show. Well, you know, on this show, we talk to authors, comedians, producers, film
artists,
people. Yeah, a lot of drummers, a lot of musos.
Comedians.
And the stories that
I have a request. If anybody knows, and I've mentioned this before, we would love to get Jeff Fisher on. I'd love to have that guy.
Yeah, that would be very motivational. We need to round out everything with some athletes because a lot of times their stories are so inspiring.
They are.
And we can all benefit from those stories. So current events, you know, we release these things in wacko. This could take 12 weeks to put out this episode because we put out
2 weeks.
2 week, either Monday and Friday or Tuesday and Saturday, depending on Jim's workload over the weekend and what kind of Sunday he has, if he goes camping or glamping or not.
Which I will be this weekend.
So listen, the drumming thing and the toll it takes on the aging body. I have to go to elite orthopedic sports therapy this morning because I pulled my lower ham and my calf.
How the hell did you do playing?
It's overuse. So the guy says, it's overuse, Rich. Tell me about what you do. I said, well, I lift weights. I do Orange Theory, which is high intensity training for 60 minutes. I love it. You burn 1,000 calories. Then I play drums at least 3 days a week. I burn 1,000 calories every time I sit behind the drum set. And I've been doing this for 44 years, going on 45 years. So there's some light arthritis that's happening in the limbs where you wake up in the morning and your hand is a little asleep. My lower back suffers sometimes. I got the mesh from the hernia from lifting bass drums and Hammond B3 organs for 20 years and 30 years. And then you pull muscles occasionally, and then the guys on the bus are like, what is that smell? Is that Bengay? I was like, no, it's icy hot, but it's in the same family. But anyways,
are you getting regular massages?
I do at least one a month, but it's supposed to be once a week.
Yeah.
You know, and these star athletes, they have the best of everything. They have a nutritionist, they have a trainer, they have somebody that massages them every day. They could take one of those ice cold subarctic baths after every game. Mm-hmm. We're just kind of on our own. We are kind of like athletes, but we're on a budget.
Yeah. Well, what leg was it that you've had all the strains in?
Just on my left leg.
Your hi-hat leg.
Yeah, the hi-hat leg. Thank God.
So is that going to become the forgotten foot?
It's the forgotten foot for so many people. Mm-hmm. We could probably talk to our next guest about that.
That's right.
So I've known this guy for so long, a long time. He moved to Nashville. He made Nashville his bitch. We could say that because the FCC isn't listening.
That's right.
But for the last 8 years, he has been the touring drummer with award-winning country rock artists Florida Georgia Line. My friend Sean Fuller! Hey buddy.
Listen to that crowd.
Look at that,
Listen to
man.
that crowd. I love that.
I love that, man. So already 8 years with Florida Georgia Line.
8 years. And I had to look that up, to be honest with you. Like today,
You're like, when did I get that job?
I think Rich is going to actually ask me when I started, so I better look that up. And it was late 2012, like right after Cruise came out.
Isn't it nice to have a job in the very
let me tell you
crazy
something.
industry?
In this industry, like I work just like with you with many other young drummers, aspiring drummers, and ones that are just to coming to the area, and they look you up and they want to have breakfast with you. I'll buy you breakfast.
Coffee?
I will buy you coffee, whatever it takes, just to sit down and talk and pick your brain. Right. So I do that because, like, the honesty is I love it because I want to try to help them kind of miss some of the potholes that I hit. But you know, that being said, man, like it's been an absolute blessing. This I tell everybody that this group in general over the last 8 years, I've accomplished more internally and externally with this group than I have in any other thing that I've ever done. Right. So it's cool.
Now, you're originally from Evansville, Indiana, right?
Evansville, Indiana.
Which is right up the way.
Right up the way.
Because Casino Astar and all the casinos, which I've played, all of those.
I've played them all myself.
With me and Kurt Allison. Because Kurt Allison, I met Kurt when I played in his dad's band. He had a show band called the Blues Other Brothers.
I remember them.
And we played Casino Astar all the time. So when was it that you moved to Nashville?
Oh, late 97.
Oh, the same year as me.
Yeah, there you go.
And so what was your plan when you moved to town? You were kicking around, you're doing demos, did you do Lower Broadway?
I did a little bit of everything, man. Like, you know, you can't let grass grow under your feet, you know. And I did not want to tuck my tail and run back home. And the idea before I even came to Nashville, like, it was either going to be LA or it was going to be Nashville. Yeah. And I was like, man, I'm going to get lost in LA.
You got some tats for LA.
You know, well, but I didn't have the tats back then.
Some quality tats.
I actually had hair at that time. And,
you had the giant mohawk.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, so all that good stuff. But
was that when you were with Luke Bryan?
Yes.
You had a giant mohawk.
I did, but that was actually, believe it or not, like right after the rock extent that I did. When I first joined up with Luke Bryan, he was still a songwriter for Murrah Publishing. So it wasn't like he wasn't even signed with Capitol at the time. Yeah. And that's an interesting story within itself of how I even got that gig.
Yeah, let's not forget that story, because I remember us being on the same bills together, coming up in the trenches like in 06 or something like that.
05, something like that.
Yeah,
Man, it
05, 06.
That's crazy.
A young Jason Aldean, young Luke Bryan.
Very young Luke Bryan.
Right? So you come, and what was your training? I think I wrote down your first drum teacher. It was Greg.
Greg Tooley, yes.
Is he still there in Evansville?
He is still in Evansville. Hits me up every once in a while on social media, and we chat. Man,
what did he teach you?
Man, just he wouldn't let me touch a drum kit until I learned every rudiment, frontwards, backwards.
Good man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, no. And I'll tell you, like, there was many times I wanted to quit.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I want to play the drum kit. I don't want to sit behind just this snare drum or just this pad or whatever it was that we were playing on at the time.
A Gladstone pad.
Oh my God. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you, like, you know, I'm super glad that I stuck with it and that my parents kind of kept me going in that direction. It saved me from being an idiot out on the streets, and it also kept me focused on something that, I mean, who knew at that time what it would turn into?
That was a pretty common teaching philosophy in this, I think in the 70s, 80s, early 90s, where they're like, no, kid, you got to learn all your rudiments and you got to learn to read music before we get you that bass drum and that hi-hat. And that was the kind of the model when I was coming up. And then, you know, I decided like maybe like 5 years ago, I wrote this book called Fundamentals of Drumming for Kids. And we just get the kids on the kit.
Absolutely.
You show them how to hold the sticks, and then they're on the kit. And if they fall in love with it, then you can go back and teach them the rudiments.
There you go.
But there is something to that patience is a virtue. Like, let's get you your foundational elements. Let's show you how to hold the sticks and develop your chops and learn your rudiments and learn how to read. And then all you're doing is adding couple other limbs.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, and it was so old school, you know, like everything was very old school. And I still have a couple of students that want it that way. Like they don't want to touch the kit. Like they're literally like, hey, I don't want to do that. You know, if that's how you learn, that's how I want to learn.
What's your teaching load? Are you like, you got a certain number?
Not very much, man. I keep it very, very little because I'm a family man. I got a couple of kids and a wife and touring and yada, yada,
that
yada.
all happened fairly recently?
Well, I mean...
When did you get married?
I got married about 3 years ago. Been with her like 7-8 years now.
Ooh, very cosmopolitan. You guys waited.
We waited a while, yeah. Got a 5-year-old now and a 9-month-year-old.
Wow, 9 months?
9-month-year-old.
Wow. So
still has that new baby smell.
Are you sleep deprived right now?
What's that? No, my wife is, but I'm not. No, I'm kidding. No. You know what? Like, it's interesting. Like, she prefers to be the one that gets up and takes care of that, which is great at the same time. But like, when I'm working and I'm getting home late, or if I'm doing a session or whatever it is that I'm doing, she's very, very adamant about taking care of things like that herself. Now, I myself will take charge as I can, or whenever she needs. It's just communication and asking, baby, do you need a break? And she's like, yeah, I need a break. I need some sleep. Yeah.
So obviously you've changed a diaper.
Oh yeah, I've changed a few. Yeah.
Now I'm coming up on 50. That's somehow I've escaped this.
We can fix that.
We can fix that.
We got to video it.
I know some single girls.
Do you ever like open up the diaper and just go, oh my God, how is this made by a human?
You know what's interesting? Yeah, it's not that bad, but what's interesting is it starts becoming a science project. Like, I know exactly what you ate.
Oh yeah, it's like peas.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing when you look in the toilet after. You're like, oh, there's that pizza.
There's the corn. There's a sale on corn.
There's that Wookiee cookie I ate.
That's a Wookiee cookie.
Do they still have those?
Well, at least I baked a Wookiee cookie.
Oh my God! Just look at that.
I know, he's good at that.
He really is. Yeah. It's pretty fast. Okay, so you're a family man and you're juggling these challenges, and you guys are probably touring. I know back in the day we did 200 shows a year, and now we're just at like 60. Where are you guys?
Yeah, that's exactly where we're at, man. First couple of years, 2 or 3 years, it was over 200 shows, and now the guys are like, man, we want to spend some time with our family and with yada yada. And so yeah, it's about the exact same space. And this year actually is going to be a really, really cool year. We're literally only doing like 23 shows. It's all of the it's the Kenny Chesney Stadium stuff. There's a new album that's coming out next year. So they decided to take a year and let's just be, main support for Chesney. We'll do these 23 stadium things, call it a day for the year.
23, nice.
Yes.
We did that with Kenny in 2015, and it was 11 shows.
11. Oh.
And in those 11 shows, we played to almost 1 million people.
Oh yeah,
because it's 85,000 people per stadium.
Yes,
and that's good. And I gotta say, if anybody's ever seen Sean play, you're an arena stadium drummer.
Oh yeah.
So that was what you were preparing for your entire life.
Absolutely.
I assume when I see you play. Remember that time we played Stockholm and Oslo?
I did.
And did we all go to Australia together too?
We did go to Australia.
Yeah.
That was that country to country thing, I believe, wasn't it?
And like Australia was nice.
Yes.
It was great turnouts. Stockholm was okay. Or was it Oslo that was really quiet?
Oslo was, well, I'll tell you, it was Oslo, and then, gosh dang it, was it...
Stockholm, and I could have sworn it was Oslo and Stockholm.
Yeah.
Maybe, and then we did the O2 and the O3.
The O2 and the O3, yeah.
Not bad. Check those bucks.
Oh, exactly. Big time.
And I think we're going back to Australia next year.
Yep.
Which is really good. Are we going together?
I don't know. We'll have to look into that. That'd be kind of cool.
That could be cool. And so, have you done the first stadium show yet?
We have not done the first stadium. We actually just did well, I guess it'd be like the CRS event here.
Okay.
So we just got that done, wrapped that up, and just kind of prepping. We're not doing anything until mid-April.
Yeah.
So we're good. Like, I'm just soaking up home,
chilling, enjoying that fresh baby smell.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about, Sean, it's really curious. We're talking about music education and the benefits of music education. Our sponsor of our show is the School of Rock.
Love that.
Have you done anything with the School of Rock?
I have not done anything yet, but I have talked to Mr. Billy Sheehan about that, who
That'd be great.
has, and that was just kind of in a random conversation.
Because you guys, did you play Shy Boy the other on something?
I did.
And so that would be great, because I can mention your name to Angie and Kelly McCray. They own the 2 locations at the School of Rock here in Nashville and Franklin. Some of the best School of Rocks ever right here in this area. So kids in Middle Tennessee can really benefit from their programs. I've known them for 10 years.
They're
Even
amazing.
if your kids, they don't want to become professional bass players, drummers, keyboard players, singers, they're going to learn so much being involved with the School of Rock about how to get along with other people and showing up on time and working in a group and taking direction. So if your kids want to sign up for the School of Rock, Jim, there's 2 email addresses.
Franklin at schoolofrock.com and Nashville at schoolofrock.com.
And tell them that Rich and Jim and Sean sent you.
Go, baby. Go,
nice.
Baby, go.
Yeah, they'd love to hear your story.
Love that.
So you moved here in 97.
Yeah.
Same year as me. and we're out shaking hands, crashing parties, trying to find our tribe. I met Kurt Allison right away in 1997. Then I met young Tully Kennedy and Jason Aldean in 99.
Wow.
So my third year in, I met the people that would literally end up changing my life. Sometimes it happens for people even faster. The first day in Nashville, they meet someone that can change their life.
Absolutely.
And so how long did you feel like you were in a rock band for a while? Tell us about that. What was that band?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the rock band was called Volpine, and this was kind of an in-between stint between I guess Luke Bryan and Justin Moore at the time.
Yeah.
So the whole Luke Bryan thing, as it was happening, he got signed with Capitol Records, and I didn't really know at that time like what was going to happen to that, but I had been kind of toying with this idea. I got a phone call from some people in Jackson, Tennessee about this band called Volpine. They were being looked at by Wind Up Records, which if anybody knows anything about Wind Up, it's a legit label, Creed, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. So, you know, I was looking into it. I was like, man, that's kind of my forte. Yeah. You know, and I'm like, man, I weighed the options, and I was like, man, I got to go do this. Yeah. So I actually left Luke Bryan to go do this thing. And it's a good concoction of like, gosh, man, if I had to put two bands together to name Volpine, it would kind of be Nickelback meets Seven Dust kind of thing. Yeah. Okay, kind of that in between, just really grindy metal rock kind of thing. So I went and did it. You know? And so we were out with like Power Man 5000, Nonpoint, Saliva, Dark New Day. Just random bands like that during that time was just a lot of fun to play with. Sure.
So you guys played rock clubs, theaters, festivals,
all that good stuff. So a lot of fun, a lot of great band, super rock band, man. The unfortunate side to a lot of things that happen in rock, though, is you get one member that gets what I call we'll just call
lead singer disease.
There you go, LSD. He said it, I didn't say it. I did not put that on.
So the question is the band still together, and where is that guy now?
No, the band is not together, but I will say that this particular singer, has grown up quite a bit himself, and has become just an amazing guy and a great father as well. So, and so now he's doing his own thing, and we've actually kind of chatted back and forth about possibly doing a little side project, which could be cool. Who knows? But we'll see where things kind of go from there.
Yeah. Would you want to spin a little bit of just a taste of their music here?
Go for it. Go for it.
It's that power rock 6/8.
Oh yeah. Super, super fun stuff.
Powerful, man. Powerful. So that had to be fun. Well, I remember seeing you with Luke Bryan, thinking to myself, this guy rocks too hard for Luke, but now you would be perfect for Luke, but you were ahead of your time.
I was ahead of my time.
But it all worked out great because then our buddy Kent Slusher gets a great gig. You get a great gig. We all get a great gig.
Absolutely. And I love Kent to death. He's one of my favorite people.
And then he came and replaced me with Pam Tillis. So when I left Pam Tillis to go with Rushlow, boom, there's Kent.
Well, and I don't think any of us at the time, you don't realize how small a world it is.
Oh, it's so small.
Such a small world, and you run in those circles, and all of a sudden you just become really good friends, and everything's great.
Well, I've got to see you play 1,000 times on giant drum sets with 2 kick drums and multi-toms and like Gibraltar skulls, and you guys have fire and pyro, and it's sick and slick, man. And I got to see that for 2 years we toured together.
That's right.
What years was that? What
God.
When was this?
You would ask me. You should know this.
I mean, I should know too, because it was 2 years with Luke Bryan, 2 years with Florida Georgia Line. There was a year that Thompson Square opened. There was a year, I think, Parmalee opened for us, man.
Maybe like 15, 14, 15, somewhere around there. 16, maybe?
I think it was maybe
15.
14, 15.
14, 15.
Yeah.
Let's just go with
that. That was 5 years ago.
We're going to say that we know better, and that's 14, 15.
That's incredible. Like, I personally think I should be doing some better record keeping and journaling.
Well, I mean, I guess if you need to, then I need to.
But the thing is because like my brain is mush. I can't remember anything. Actually, my girlfriend Kara, she's got she's like an elephant. She never forgets, which is not good.
That's not good.
Anyways, she says, I tell you stories about our life, and you just perk up like, really? That happened?
The whole time your mind is like, I wonder what I'm doing tomorrow.
I'm like, what is that happened to us? And she goes, yeah, you really perk up, and I tell you, I remember your life better than you do. It's good to have somebody in your life like that, because Alzheimer's runs in my family.
My wife definitely reminds me of everything that I forget.
So who are some of your drumming influences growing up? I mean, were we talking like Shannon Larkin, Tommy Lee? Who are the guys?
Okay, so I actually put together like a small little list, and it's what's funny is it's not the guys that you would think it is. Okay, now, and I will tell you that like as a kid growing up, you're kind of relevant to the music that your parents are listening to, and so for me, like we were listening to Doobie Brothers, we were listening to Queen, we were listening to Zeppelin, Blue Oyster Cult, Kiss, all that good stuff. So that was the stuff that I kind of grew up on. So,
were you a Dio guy?
So, well, a little bit later I was, you know what I'm saying? Like Holy Diver, man, come on,
Nice.
So anyway, but anyway, so definitely like a Peter Criss. Like the first time I saw that with Kiss, I was like, what in the world is that? Or what? Because, I mean, it's shock rock, but
what is this, like 77, 78?
Easily, you know what I'm saying? And so you don't realize at the time what this is,
right.
And what it's doing, but you like it. You like it. That's a huge
Kiss in the Phantom of the Park.
Oh my God, it was super awesome. And I used to watch that show on TV. Or it was a movie. It was
like on HBO.
Yeah. So early ages, it was the Peter Crisses and that kind of thing. But what's interesting is my parents also brought me up on a band called Yes. Do you remember the band Yes?
That was Jim's first concert.
Okay, so unbeknownst to me, one of my first real influences was Bill Bruford. And they just didn't know it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm at an age in Indiana where I'm not buying the albums. My parents have the albums, but I'm not looking through the liner notes or anything like that. I just didn't know that was Bill Bruford playing.
But it spoke to you.
But it spoke to me, and so, Roundabout, all that good stuff. You're just like, man, that's some fantastic
drumming.
When
did Alan White come along for Yes?
Alan White came along, which is another one that I was about to mention for the 90125 album. Which was, like 82, 83.
Yep.
The same guy that played on John Lennon's Imagine.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Alan White.
Alan
Really?
White. Yeah, and I met him at a rock and roll fantasy camp that I was teaching at with Vinny Appice.
Man, I'm telling
White.
You. Oh my goodness. So those were some early influences. Gosh dang, man, there's so many early ones. I mean, obviously the first time I saw Neil Peart, I was like, I might as well just break my sticks, throw them away.
Yeah.
That guy's unbelievable.
He's got, first of all, there's a lot of gear to move around if you want to have drums out like that.
Oh my God.
I've done that.
Jim had that kit.
Yeah. Oh, really?
He had all the...
It was like a cross between Peart's kit and Nico's.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Was the ride cymbal like all extreme like that?
I think it was. Not extreme, but I mean, I had like the roller coaster toms. And
Nico's is definitely extreme. I sat behind that kit the last time they came here to Nashville, and I was like, there's no way. Absolutely no way.
Yeah,
but everything's probably
incredible.
Right there.
Oh yeah, it's definitely
it's
like
facing him.
When you were like a kid as a drummer and you faced your drummers like really high up like this, like that's literally how they look whenever you sit behind that. You're like, oh my, it's
huge,
like a wall of toms, and it just goes all the way around.
There's no rim shotting that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, we did that little Neil Rush tribute, Exit the Warrior, the other night.
I heard about
and
that.
it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 toms.
Yep.
So it was like 2 mounted, 3 floor toms, and then 2 little DW like timbali toms. And so for someone that's not used to having all those surfaces to hit, it worked out great for me because the targets were so small. They were like 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18.
Yep.
So to do the rolls, which I didn't get a chance to get on the kit before we actually performed the show. So it was So but the targets were small.
Right.
So I just tightened up my butthole and just really dug in, and it worked out.
That's usually how you do it. As usual. Yeah. I'm kind of going with him on
But if
this
the
one.
drums are bigger, then you're more likely to hit rims, and you really have to get on the
Are you saying you have bad aim?
With multi-tom
You
stuff?
you have to wipe the seat after you go pee. You do. I'm going to go with that. All right.
I'll ask Kara.
Okay.
I don't know.
I pee on the seat.
I had the smallest tom I had was an 8-inch.
Yeah.
Because if you had the special order, the 6-inch.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe it was 8.
And then,
10,
and even
12.
then, you were looked at weird by the salesman, when you're like going, I need a 6-inch tom.
Yeah.
Why do you need a 6-inch tom?
You just go with the rototom.
Just order it.
That is tiny.
Yeah, it's very tiny.
I got that little recording custom kit that John picked up for me. There was a rock producer in town that was getting rid of it. It's a Dave Weckl era recording custom.
Oh my God.
And it's got more toms that.
How many more toms does it have?
I think it's got like maybe two higher toms.
Really?
Too higher.
Bing, bing, bong, bong.
Well, you were talking about maybe adding another tom to your kit with Jason, right?
My guys are not fans of like I don't know if they would like a lot of toms, but sometimes we just have to take our band and not ask for permission. Just we ask for forgiveness.
No, that's exactly what I do in everything. I mean, it's kind of a rule of thumb.
It's like I show up with 4 toms. Deal with it.
I just set it up, and then if you bring attention to it, that's when it's an issue. But if you don't bring attention to it, they'll never know.
Sean has to be the first country rock drummer to play a 3 kick drum kit.
Yeah, what was the 3 kick drums about? Was that like, did the guys come up with that so they can put the FGL on the kick drums? Or?
So the story goes with this.
That was the kit you had out when we were together, right?
It is.
Okay.
I called it the greatest smoke and mirrors kit on the face of the planet.
Because it's a 4-piece.
Yeah, it literally is a 4-piece kit. And so the funny thing is, and I got so many people asking me like on like through Instagram or social media, it's like, dude, how do you play all 3 bass drums? And I never answered because I just want to go, I don't.
It's showbiz.
Yeah.
It's just showbiz.
I have a third leg.
The whole kit design was based on they wanted something larger than life, but it worked out great for me because up until that point I had never had a drum tech ever, and I said, okay, here's the deal. I'm going to make this gargantuan kit for you, but you're going to get me a drum tech that's going to set it up.
You're going to have an extra employee.
And so that's how that worked out.
So you went to bat and stuck up for yourself, and they agreed.
Absolutely.
That's nice, because that would have been a hell day.
Oh, yeah,
my
dude.
gosh.
It was absolutely one of those things. I mean, I was originally the one that built it with, we had Brent. Brent came out.
Gibraltar guy?
Yeah. So he came out, gosh dang it, we had, is it Mike Miller? Glenn Sobel's drum tech.
Yeah, Mike Miller.
Yeah. So Mike came out from LA and stayed a couple of days and helped us build this gargantuan deal,
Nice.
man. So it was super, super cool.
I didn't know that. Great guy.
Yeah, super good guy. So yeah, he came out, we built it, designed everything, marked it, yada, yada, yada. So the drum tech that came in actually had it easy because we had everything marked. But even at that point, like I had never had a drum tech. So I was still, after every show, like that guy because I'm so OCD.
Do you still have your same tech?
Derek just left.
Derek left?
Yeah, Derek just left. So he's going on. He wants to get out of the teching world and go more into like stage managing, that kind of deal,
okay.
which is super cool, man. And we had talked about it a couple of years ago. I just didn't know that was going to happen this year. So yeah, we're actually getting a guy in. I can't say who it is right now, okay. but we're definitely getting a guy in, and it's working out perfectly.
Great.
So it's all really, really cool. And Derek's he's doing his thing, and it's super cool for him. I'm super proud of him.
That's great. Yeah, because you guys worked together for a good
7 years, almost 8 years.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the different pictures of your kits, and they're all just,
massive
hairband era. Go nuts on the Chinas,
which is interesting because I'm a bald guy, like the hairband thing. Yeah. But I loved the hairbands. I'm not gonna lie.
But you have a thing, kind of like a thing. I don't know if you still do it, but you kind of collect rock band tees.
I do.
And you cut the sleeves off.
Yeah.
And it's a different rock band every night.
Here's the thing. So like in all actuality, like as the guys' albums have matured, like my playing has matured, so has my outfits. so you're probably not going to see me in spandex anymore. Which back at the very first part of it, it was part of the stage show.
2014, you were spandexed up like Greg Bissonette. Didn't even smile.
Under Armour loved me. They would send me boxes of their stuff.
Well, that's great.
So which was super cool. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't. I didn't.
How did you meet the Under Armour people?
Just through a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. Just one of those deals. Like, oh man, I work with Under Armour. And I was like, oh cool, send me some spandex.
What we get and we love. I don't know if you're familiar with this company, Stance, but they make incredible underwear and socks.
Really?
And they line us out with this incredible, because I'm a boxer briefs guy.
Yeah.
Like the combo. It's like if a boxer met a brief and had sex.
It's a little TMI, but okay.
Yeah. And then the socks they're just so well done, and they're bright and loud and just.
Yeah. Are you gonna send me some?
Look at that shit.
I like those.
Yeah.
I'll try on some of your underwear when we get done with this.
We'll get that on video for the gram.
We'll get video of that.
Oh my God! So now, what is you're changing the kit every 2 years or so?
Every 2 years. We're not doing anything with it this year. I built a really fun kit for this last tour, the Can't Say I Ain't Country tour. Yeah. And to me, it was like I wanted to give kind of a little bit more of an ode to vintage drum kit kind of thing. So we decided to go with 2 20-inch kick drums instead of, like, I'm used to 24s or bigger. So we're like, let's go with something punchy, just small. So 2 20s.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So, I call it kind of a Louis Bellson kit, but Louis Bellson didn't use 20s. I just used 20s because I wanted them to have more of a tight sound. Yeah. But definitely the, center tom, 2 floor toms. Our sound guy wanted an extra voice in there, so we threw a 10 in there somewhere just to where I could play it for just like little tags here and there. Because none of our drum fills are like, and it's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? It's all Pat Boone, Debbie Boone stuff. Yeah. So it is what it is on that end. Yeah, I know. There you go. It's not tennis shoes in a dryer, but. Now,
you
can save that one for later.
Is Joey Moy still like programming a lot of the drums on the records?
The first couple of them. Actually, the first 3, definitely. I would say that the third album, there was definitely some live playing mixed in with some different things happening. Now, this last album, no. And I'll be honest with you, like, I never asked who played the kit on it, but it sounded great.
Right.
It was super good. And what was cool for me, it was like the first few albums, like I had to give the Sean Fuller take on what they wanted off this stuff because it felt very mechanical to me.
Right.
As a drummer. As a fan, listening to the music was great. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing broke, don't fix it kind of thing. So, but Joey gave me enough leash to say, okay, let's put your take on it.
Fullerize it.
Yeah, let's put your take on it, but let's kind of dumb that back a little bit. So we did, and it worked out great.
Nice. And I remember hearing front of house mixes and watching you play and stuff, and you have to be super tight with tracks because there's shakers, finger snaps, claps, reverb, snare drums. And so when you play your acoustic snare drum, it's got to be tight as heck with a hand clap.
Absolutely.
Going to front of house.
Absolutely.
So, I tell the kids, hey, more than ever, I think the younger kids, they know that they're going to have to be super tight with clicks.
Timing is everything. And I know some drummers do this. I prefer not to do this. I know that, with Ableton being involved with a lot of different bands that of that magnitude or whatever, even smaller bands are using it now too. So, but I liked to find certain patterns that normally would be in Ableton, but that I can play in between what I'm playing on the acoustic kit. So, so I put some triggers up there, whether it's
pads.
Some pads, or I'll figure out a way to make a tom look like an electronic pad, whatever it is that we got to do. But I'll play those patterns in between certain things.
Perfect.
So it's not.
So you're a rolling guy now?
Yeah, absolutely. Nice. I love rolling stuff, man. I'll tell you what, those guys are killer.
So you're using the SPDSX?
Using the SPDSX right now. We're actually, I want to say that we're getting ready to go to the TM Pro brain right now. Get rid of the SPDSX because we're not really using it. I just need the outputs on the back side of it. So we're going to use that. Put some triggers around there. Let me do the 808 hits. Let me do the hand claps and things like that around the kit, and actually just be the performer. To me, that I don't want to sit in between a down verse or something like that and kind of like, well, I'm going to sit here until here comes a chorus and I'm going to come in and play. I like to play all the parts.
I love that. Yeah, like say a part like Burning It Down that your guys wrote.
Very familiar with.
I could set up trigger pads all over the kit and try to reproduce it. It's very busy. It's a very busy loop. So what I decided is, just let Pro Tools have that, and then I play maracas and then white ice cymbal swells. So I have mallets and.
I will tell you,
you've seen it.
You're a fantastic maraca player.
I will rock some maracas, man.
Your percussion ability is stunning.
I don't know about that because I play really silly Hollywood percussion patterns, but I commit to it.
Well, people often talk about, I play the triangle because I think it's easy. Or the tambourine.
Who was the guy that played the triangle on Saturday Night Live?
There was an actual. You got to be kidding me! This guy got a paycheck.
One guy?
Well, no, it was.
You talking about the Blue Oyster Cult with Will Ferrell and the cowbell?
No, I'm talking about Steve Martin has been doing double comedy bills. Steve Martin and the other guy that was on Saturday Night Live was like, I must say, and he played the triangle.
Roy? Siegfried and Roy?
Oh, no.
Martin Short?
Martin Short. Yes, he played the triangle on Saturday Night Live.
That was okay. Oh, God. What was his character, though? He had the pulled up pants with the button up shirt and the
Ed Brimley.
Ed Brimley.
Fantastic.
There you go.
It took 3 brains to come up with that.
That was probably way before my time.
It was like crazy. All right, so
I'm too young for that.
You got this great gig. These guys that are blending, country, rock, hip hop,
techno.
Cruise was a massive hit. Put them on the map.
Yeah.
And along the way, you're doing things during the day. You and I have done some double drum clinics together.
Yeah.
You had this program for a while. I think it was called
the Be the
Beast Mode or Be the Beast. And then
Beast Mode.
Now, was Beast an acronym?
It was an acronym, but we. I'll tell you what.
What was that?
Oh my God.
BEAST.
Believe, envision, aim, strive, transform.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then so in recent years, you went to a new program. It's a motivational talk you give to school kids, and it's called Faith Goals Life.
Absolutely. This is my new baby, and I this is the one that I wanted Be the Beast to turn into, but it just didn't come to fruition via the people that I was surrounding myself with.
Yes.
So this is something that I'm doing basically on my own. I've got a couple of friends in St. Louis that are helping us kind of maneuver this in a couple of different ways. But we're taking our time with it, and we're in talks with the Better Business Bureau about actually trying to figure out a way to fund this thing through the schools to where they don't have to pay a dime towards it at all. It just comes to them without anything.
Yeah, the school kids really need it more than anyone.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, there's so much red tape that comes from speaking to a school because the money can come from the band boosters, the PTA can come from government grants.
Yeah.
Once you start involving government grants, there's tons of paperwork and sometimes a delay of 6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
So, the school thing is tough, but that's really where you're going to impact the most people. And the pillars, I was researching this, the pillars of your talk are humility, character, and integrity.
Absolutely.
So tell us about that. What are some of the stories or the insights that you tell the kids about those 3 things?
Well, I mean, interestingly enough, I mean, you know my career, and I don't, try to stay too far away from the fact that, even with me playing with the Luke Bryans of the world or the Justin Moores or whatever, I lost those gigs. Those weren't gigs that I just walked away from.
Forgot about Justin Moore.
You know what I'm saying? Those were gigs that I lost and I had to learn lessons from. You know what I'm saying? And those 3 things came to mind when I talk about those. Now, and there's stories within stories within stories of those 2 situations which at this particular point, I mean, we all talk now. Everything's good. Everything's great. It
worked out.
But at the time when you're growing through this business and you're kind of headstrong and you don't necessarily know what you're doing, but you want to be the biggest thing ever, but nobody's listening or whatever. I want to do my thing. You have to learn that it's not your way. It's not your name on the ticket. It's not your name that people are muttering whenever they come. The curtain falls and
it's nice to hear the occasional Sean.
Yeah,
Give me your drums, Dad.
I have no idea what that's like. The Rich Redmond show.
Looking right behind you. Yeah. But no, you get the one person in the nosebleeds that has a poster up that cares about the drummer.
They're like they've got a Mapex poster.
There you go.
And they're trying to get it signed, but they're in the farthest seat in the house.
But I will tell you, like, I had to learn a lot of valuable lessons in this business, and those three right there mean the world to me now, which is why I would say that what I'm doing currently, and as long as I've been with Florida Georgia Line, that has carried me along the way. You know what I'm saying? But those were lessons that I had to learn, and sometimes the hard way.
Well, I was looking at your promotional thing on your website. Your website is SeanFullerDrums.com, and Sean is SeanFuller, SeanFullerDrums.com. Now, when I typed in SeanFuller.com, there's a saxophone player.
Yeah,
a
that
sexy
guy's
sax guy.
Sax man.
I don't know about if you knew this, but I have a second life.
That would be so cool.
I do. I'm a sexy saxophone player.
So SeanFullerDrums.com, and there's the promo reel for the talk. Faith, goals, life is great, and I know that you're going to affect a lot of kids positively, man. And I could see that humility, approaching everything humbly and having a spirit of gratitude, and then our character shines. Our reputation precedes us, and then going through life with integrity. So at the beginning and end of each day, we can look at ourselves in the mirror and be proud of what we see.
Absolutely.
And then sharing those insights with kids is, I think, more important than ever. And some of the other things you kind of touch on, I guess, are bullying, social media habits. What do you hit on there? I'm curious.
Well, I mean, honestly, like the biggest thing that I hit on is that, when it comes to social media, I mean, obviously everything that you put on there now is exposed to everyone.
Because you and I are very active.
Absolutely.
There. I mean, it's no secret there.
And so the social media thing, and this, it quickly becomes your resume, and it also becomes the place where a lot of job, employers go to see what you're about. On a piece of paper laying in front of them, they can see that you have all of the things that would require for you to do a great job at their business, but they don't know you personally.
Right.
And so how they find out about you personally is they'll go through social media and they'll check around, they'll look at you and that kind of thing. And obviously if you're, hammered puking at a bar or somewhere and you post a picture
forever.
You know what I'm saying? That is a picture that's caught forever on social media that can hurt you. So yeah, we talk about those kind of things and how to stay away from those things, and obviously don't post anything that you don't want.
I love
people
that.
to
I
see,
love that you're hitting on that. That is so now. It's so fresh. I was on my our mutual friend Hal Bowman's podcast last night. Hal Bowman is a motivational speaker, has a program called Teach Like a Rock Star, and he goes in and he does in-service days for teachers, and teachers need a ton of professional development because here's the stats. Our teachers are teaching. They're responsible for the future of our nation.
Yeah.
And if a teacher can last if they can get past 5 years, they will usually become a career teacher. But there's so much dropout within the first 5 years because we expect so much from teachers. We expect the same thing from a first day teacher that we do a teacher with 30 years experience. Yeah. Then there's all the government testing, right? That it's the pressure of that. There's this new math, right? These are all the things that I learned yesterday. Yeah. And then the main thing I asked my friend Hal was, how did teachers deal with cell phones in the classroom? Because I used to be a classroom teacher. I don't know how I would be able to handle it. You know what he calls it? They call it digital citizenship.
Yeah.
So digital citizenship. So being on your phone in a responsible way. Mm-hmm. And what a lot of teachers are doing is they have a like a travel shoe bag that you would hang on the back of your door, and all the kids have their slots. Johnny, Sean, Jimmy, and they put their cell phone in there.
You would think that in this day and age with electronics and yada 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 going on, that there would be something that they could implement at a school that literally within the school. I mean, I don't know that you want to shut it down completely, like as far as like making a phone call.
Because mom needs to be able to get the kids.
Sure, but at the same time, like something that would shut down like their ability to go to Instagram, Twitter, yada, those kind of things where it just shuts that down to where they can still use the phone to call or to text, because those are highly important, especially in an emergency situation.
Right.
But when it comes to social media, I mean, how many times, you're getting ready to dial 911, do you go to Instagram? You don't, so why not have something like that?
That's really interesting. If there's any developers out there in Silicon Valley.
But a lot of the kids, as you get older, they're getting more. They're not traditional social media. They don't want to use it.
Yeah.
They want to be you got to keep an eye on what's up and coming.
True.
So what are they doing on their phones all day?
TikTok. TikTok is a big thing out there. You want to find out what the next big thing is going to be? Just watch the 12-year-olds, the 11-year-olds, the 10-year-olds.
It's true. That's very true.
Games, video games, everything.
Yeah.
Did you guys, either one of you guys, ever get into the games on the phone where you have to do all the upgrades to get the weapons and the secrets and all that kind of stuff?
Want to see the games I'm into?
Never did that.
It just drains your bank account because you're like, I really want to slay that dragon, but there's no way I can slay that dragon until I buy this super sword.
Right, you got to buy the power pack.
Yeah.
I've never been a game guy on my phone, but this is Frozen Free Fall.
Gay.
I love that.
GEIGH.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. We'll have to totally edit that out because I do live in West Hollywood with my girlfriend. I'm very comfortable with it.
But it's like Candy Crush, but with Frozen characters.
I like that.
And it's like I find that when I play it, it actually makes my mental acuity more sharp.
Can I ask which character are you?
You can play all of them.
Oh yeah. But what's your favorite? Be honest.
I like the moose.
You're the moose.
The reindeer.
It's the horns, isn't it? It's the
Who
horns.
are you?
That's right.
It's the horns.
Who are you? You know who
I'm into Marvel for crying out
I know,
loud.
but you know what I would play if I played on the phone? First of all, I'm old school, so I'd probably try to find some version
Dungeon
of
Master
of
and D&D.
Pac-Man. I would find a version of
Did you know that
Pac-Man.
about him?
I was
He was a dungeon master.
total dungeon.
I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Oh, and by the way, he was a speed skater too. He was
I know.
a
speed skater.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Connecticut.
I can't
That's
wait
what
to
they
have his
do.
parents
Hey,
on. It's gonna
I
be
will
the best
tell
show
you.
ever.
I will tell you that my little 5-year-old has taken up ice skating and is awesome. She actually has a competition on Sunday. You want to go?
On Sunday?
Yeah, sure.
Whereabouts?
I would have to find out.
Am I on Sunday?
I'm really
I'm heading to Los Angeles.
I'm kind of kidding, but I do want
I
you
was
to go.
actually checking my mental calendar.
I'd like to see how
You're
it
gonna
goes.
love this
Like you want to
story.
get out there and go.
When we were about to, you and me being fathers and
Yeah.
Rich never having the privilege of being one.
Ouch.
Wow. That
Well,
hurts. But hey, it's not too.
I'll do one even better. When we were having Spencer, my second,
Yeah.
I called you up, and this is like right as I knew him, and I said, "Hey, dude, Courtney's about to go into labor any day now.
Yeah.
Are you cool with swinging down here, keeping an eye on Cammie?" And Cammie at the time was like a year and a half old.
I mean, I was thinking about doing it for you.
And it's like the silence on the other end of the phone was all I heard was,
And that picture right there of your face, probably more with beads of sweat coming down, was probably be what that was.
"Yep."
I'm just saying, like, I don't know what to do here.
I love the fact that he was considering it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the same time, it was like,
You,
then I'm going, dude, I'm joking with you.
I
I'm
would
good.
have
Don't
totally
worry.
done it for you, buddy.
he'd have showed up with a hazmat outfit on, just like I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get.
Are you one of the guys that wears the surgery mask on an airplane?
No.
Good.
No, I'm not that guy.
I can't do it. That is not fashionable. I think I would rather get sick.
I was actually going to post a picture on.
I don't want coronavirus, but
Well, I was getting ready to go there. This would have been a really stupid picture. I did not post it, but I have a Wuhan symbol at home, which
they're great.
and they're great. And so
But that's where the coronavirus is
I
from.
know, and I was going to post a picture of a Wuhan China with a Corona sitting in front of, going, who'd have thought these two things would have caused so much issues?
a Wuhan China, and a
symbol
Corona beer,
and a Corona beer.
Oh my God.
I don't get it.
I don't know if it would be seen as insensitive,
I know, that's the thing. Like, that's why I didn't post it.
but I'm so worried about being sensitive. And Jim's like, just stop being so worried about being sensitive.
Yeah, it's what made Howard Stern. So
There you go.
I know.
he stopped worrying. And
Does he have this? You think Howard has death threats?
all the
I'm
time.
sure.
He's got his own security.
He does have a security guy.
Yeah, who's carrying
That is
Ronnie the limo driver.
Ronnie the limo driver has a gun.
Is it? Oh yeah, he's carrying. He's packing.
Holy cow!
And if when he did the shows out in the Hard Rock, when we did those shows out there, Ronnie would stand behind him.
Really?
Oh yeah, and keep an eye on the audience.
Holy cow!
Because you never know who's going to be there.
Yeah.
So when I just get pull out a
Boom.
pop them off.
I mean, at any time,
That's a strange place to be right now, especially knowing what happened to you guys.
Yeah.
Like from that moment on, I think every band talks about it. Like, you're just a target.
We're just sitting there.
You're just sitting there, and you're a target. And I mean, there's no insurance for that.
I mean, look at that black sparkle drum set right there is the one that was sitting out in the Vegas heat for 5 weeks being guarded by the FBI. And it was a neat experience. I was in Wheatland, California, which is like kind of
remember Wheatland.
Yeah, you guys probably go there every other year.
Yeah.
Playing that shed. This police officer comes up to me, introduces me as himself, and says, "Hey, Rich, I also play drums, and I just want to let you know that I was the guy that was keeping an eye on your drum set in Vegas.
That's
for
awesome.
5 weeks.
Wow.
Was it in air conditioning at least?
No, it was just out in the Vegas heat, and the shells are not warped. There's not a scratch on them. There was just a gift from God. God saying, hey, kid, you got another 20, 30 years of work left to do. That's why I think it's really important for us to go talk about Crash and to go talk about faith goals in life.
I agree.
God is telling you, don't worry, man.
We got this.
It's all right. Just lean on me.
But I will tell you one thing, my friend. Speaking of God, were you always super spiritual? Because I just felt like maybe like 5 years ago there was a shift where it was like, Sean's posting a lot of heavy stuff now, man.
I saw that too.
There was, and yeah, man. Like, you know, as a father, or you know, or anybody else, like you get to a certain point in life where you have all these amazing things in your life. You know, you have kids, you have your house, you have your wife, you have all these things, and you look around like, man, I have all these things. I have good health, but I feel empty. You know, and like you just have that emptiness inside. Something's missing. You know?
What was the turning point? Was it did you go to church one day, or did someone sit you down, or what happened?
No, you know what's interesting is I grew up Catholic, number one, and I never understood Catholicism. I never understood like going to church and stand up, sit down, kneel. You know, I never understood all the movements. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good cardio in the church. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
No, we got to do that. There we go.
Let's just play them all. I think they all deserve it.
That's the one we want.
There we go.
We need a bigger trigger pad. We need to hit it with sticks.
Yeah, that would be... That sounded like last
Love
night.
that one.
That sounded like last night.
Anyway, no, it was definitely one of those...
Damn.
It was definitely one of those points where, man, I had been through a lot of negative stuff. I had put, you know, obviously, like we talked a few minutes ago about, you know, the Luke Bryan's thing and this, that, and the other, and I had made it through all that stuff. How did I make it through all that? How did I make it through that into the biggest thing in, you know, at that particular point happening with FGL? How did all that stuff happen? Faith, man. And just like, you know, just like God had a plan for me and I didn't know what that plan was, but I was the one always trying to divert the plan. I just needed to step out of my own way.
Just get out of your own way.
Just get out of your own way and let what's supposed to happen. Be a person of just like embracing what is supposed to happen around you as opposed to trying to force things to happen.
Jim gives me this kind of advice sometimes because I'm a person that tries to
push.
I push and I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and get dirty.
You should still work, but I mean, work in your gifting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know,
that's a nice reminder.
Yeah. I mean, it's like your life's going to turn out one way, and it's going to be God's trailblazing that does it.
And some things you could have control over, and others you don't.
Want to hear God laugh? Tell him your plans.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. That's a great point. That's a great point.
Yeah.
So that was kind of it for me, man. I had talked to some people. I had talked to some pastors, and like at the time, I wasn't going to church. We had just moved across Plains at that particular time. I knew something was going. It was about the exact same time that we lost like a dear friend to me, which was Joe Hibbs,
with Mapex,
rep from Mapex, who also was the rep for Tama for years, and yada yada.
He was an industry
legend.
Yeah,
and that guy right there. We had many a talks not surrounding drums. Like the first thing out of his mouth when I would go see him was not about drums. Hey, are your drums okay? Is everything working? Yeah. It had nothing to do with it. It was about life. Hey, how's your family?
Yeah.
How's wifey? How's kids? You know, everything good. You
was Joe married? Did he have a family?
I don't think he was. No, I don't think he was. So he was very much like, this is his thing, you know, saying like, and he was darn good at it, you know. But that being said, like, he had a heart of gold, you know, and so we talked quite a bit about just things happening in life and what's important in life and what's not important in life, you know. And so there would be a lot of times I'd come in there worried about a drum kit and, hey, is this going to get here on time? You know, can I do that? Yada, yada, yada. And he's like, bro, just sit down. Let's just talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we would do that, and it always turned out great, and I always left feeling like $1 million. And so he became very close to me, and I think the last time I saw him was just it was on his birthday. They were doing like thing out at KHS America where they're just kind of checking their stock and yada yada. And I had showed up out of the blue with this big birthday cake for him.
Nice.
So like I went and got this big birthday cake, and like so everybody had cake there that worked there and all that good stuff.
Great.
And it was super fun. And then it was just a few weeks after that he went to LA, and that's where he passed. And so that was the last time I saw him. But it was a very eye-opening experience to me of like, man, we are not promised tomorrow.
Nope.
And so you're not promised an hour from now. I could walk out that door and get hit by a truck, heaven forbid, but that's the reality of life. And so, we're, to me, it's now like, stop worrying about the things you can't control. You know what I'm saying? Start just living for the moment and what's in that moment, because that moment can be taken away in a moment's notice.
Wow. And you know what? Truth revealed.
There you go.
That is great. You know what I'm watching? You know what I'm watching right now on Amazon Prime? I'm rewatching
Infinity War.
Dead Like Me.
It's
a show from like 2003 where these people that die, they become Grim Reapers, and they have to go around and they have to like pass out death notices. It's pretty, but it's a dark comedy.
It's morbid.
And it just makes you think like, wow. I mean, at any moment, the Grim Reaper can come and just knocking on your door.
That's funny because you think about the people who spoke against, what the afterlife may encompass all throughout their lives. And like, look, everybody's going to find out one way or another.
Yeah, that's the truth.
George Carlin was very big on that.
Absolutely.
Speaking against faith and religion and everything. I'm like, well, you're going to find, he found out.
Well, you know what?
That's the scary part. So,
I try to tell people, it's something that I learned in the church a long time ago, and it just sticks with me today is, it's not about religion, it's about relationship.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so don't be the religious guy, be a relationship guy. And that's the truth of the matter. I mean, it's not just relationship with God or Christ or whatever, whatever that is. It's also this relationship, me and you, you and me, that kind of thing. So it's that kind of relationship, and how you can kind of, take that relationship to the next level or whatever that is,
They will know
underwear and socks, like you were talking earlier.
Yeah.
They will know you by your fruits.
There you go.
I mean, I love people. It worked out that I love people. I mean, I know there's people that don't like people, and they usually make great comedians.
What do you think is going to be like? Okay, that day comes for all of us, Judgment Day, let's say, right? What question is going to be asked of us?
Do we have to wait in a line when we get there?
I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's going to be a question. I mean, God's all knowing, so it's probably going to be more statements than it is questions. He's going to be like, "You did this
on this day,
at this time. I knew it was going to happen. I tried to divert you, but you did it anyway."
Or how about like, let's look at the highlight reel. Now, right here.
And the low light reel.
Right here.
In front of everyone.
Oh, yeah.
That's talked about.
Dude, I'm telling you. Yeah, that's reality.
Like all of you, everything you've ever done being portrayed on a giant movie screen for all to see.
Oh, my gosh.
The good, bad, and the ugly.
Oh.
Yeah. And the whole point of it is,
I should go into hiding.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and Ted Danson's in a kind of like fun sitcom with
While
Kristen
we're all
Bell.
here judging, Harvey Weinstein,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're just as bad as he is.
Yeah. Don't throw rocks in glass houses.
Oh, yeah. So imagine that. We're just as bad as Hitler.
We've all done
Weigh
stuff
that.
in our life. Yeah. It's and I think that's the
How are we
the
just
reality
as
of it.
bad as Hitler?
Because you're applying a human construct of relativism on it.
Bam.
Okay, and that's the thing is that if you look at all the now I've talked about this before with all the different just in the four Gospels and what Jesus did and how he determined what sin is. Mm-hmm. If you turn around and just look at a girl's butt, it's adultery.
That's truth.
Ouch.
If you think negative thoughts about somebody else, it's murder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean negative thoughts?
If you just have a cross thought about somebody that you just don't like, the IRS guy that was just here, that's murder.
Yeah.
That's considered murder.
I felt like murdering him.
Rich Redmond.
But the whole point of it is,
What kind of thoughts did you just have about that IRS man?
I was just thinking about somebody's butt.
right?
I mean,
Was it mine?
Adultery?
It wasn't mine, was it?
Come on.
Yeah.
In the construct of the definition.
But do you understand why he says that?
The mind is the temple.
Yeah.
And if you are deconstructing the temple, then that's sinful.
Yeah. So I think that one of the questions is what did you do with your sin?
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the questions.
Now that being said, this is stuff that he already knows about you, and so all it is up to us is like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I knew I did that. That was wrong. I apologize, and sincerely mean it.
I'm a filthy rag.
Yeah, I'm a filthy rag. Basically, I mean, and we all have that inside of us. We do. Even you, Rich.
It'd be really great to be a priest and to be able to hear confession. Sounds like a fun time.
It sounds like
A fun time?
Because-
people just unloading their awful
Because
garbage on you?
you have a license that you earned to hear everyone's really
Deep, dark secrets.
yeah. And I mean, I don't want to hear about murder or that kind of stuff. I want to hear about mostly the
But
sexual
why is
stuff.
murder? I mean, if you really look at there's one sin above all others, and that's blasphemy of the Holy Spirit.
That
is
is
the
it.
one sin.
Ooh.
Everything else is
Unforgivable.
relative. Yeah, everything else is relative.
I don't go
Murder is the same as looking at a girl's butt.
Believe it or not.
Because God, look, dude, it's death. Big deal.
My favorite picture that I saw was a GIF of Dave Grohl sitting in a confessional, and all he says, "I got a confession."
Oh my God, that is fantastic.
The Rich Redmond Show will be right back.
Well, our big tagline has been inspiring kids to rock on stage and in life. We changed it actually to inspiring the world to rock on stage and in life, because when kids are here, they learn so much more than music. They learn how to be on a team. They learn responsibility. They learn to take responsibility for their actions. They learn to organize their time. And we try to teach them, not to be that person that nobody wants to be on a tour bus with.
Connect with School of Rock today. Search School of Rock Franklin or Nashville. This is the Rich Redmond Show.
So off camera, on the break, Sean, we were talking about your awesome companies that support you. Mapex Drums.
Yeah, Apex Drums.
Yeah,
absolutely.
man.
So I've been with them now for, since I've been with Florida Georgia Line, so that's almost 8 years.
Yeah.
And they've been absolutely incredible. We were getting ready to get into the fact that other I have been approached by other drum companies.
Sure.
Hey, come do this or whatever, and there's been a couple of intriguing, like, you just kind of look around or whatever, but the honesty is those guys treat me like gold.
Yeah.
And they do an amazing job. And if I come to them with an idea, they're like, let's do it. Let's check it out. Let's figure it out. Let's make it work.
It's right here in Murfreesboro,
and
right?
Yeah. And you can't buy that. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's the relationship again.
It goes to relationship, and so I would be trying to step on my own toes if I ever did anything outside of that. And the honesty is they sound great. They look great. They feel great. There's nothing wrong with them. They're constantly trying to go to the next level and do different things.
Yeah.
They're coming out with new products here this year. They're coming out with new snare drums, like 30 new snare drums. Like,
wow.
Super, super cool. Like, they're really starting to expand.
Do you have those? What are the big ones? Machete. Was there a machete?
Yeah, the Machete.
And then there was
The Black Panther.
the Heartbreaker.
Heartbreaker, yeah. Cherry Bomb, all that
Cherry
good stuff.
Bomb, those
Yeah.
are good.
So they got some really cool stuff. And of course, obviously, they're under the KHS America umbrella, which also now harnesses Sonar.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool, man. And so, I think with that collaboration, I think that's where some of those ideas are starting to flow back and forth, and it's becoming a really, really cool thing. And
Yeah.
I kind of feel like a kid in a candy store each time I get to put together a new kid or talk to him.
My identity.
Yeah, and so I think they actually dropped that line here recently.
Oh, okay.
They're doing away with it. I think they're just doing some different kind of things that you can basically just get wrapped in a certain way or whatever, which is super cool. You know what I'm saying? They make things affordable for people, and that's an amazing thing. And even their mid to lower line stuff sound great. You know what I'm saying?
I always like the
there's-
Saturn kit.
Yeah, the Mars kit sounds great. Played on a couple of different. They actually just released a limited edition Mars kit, and it's super cool. It's super cool. They put me on a video on it to play on it and jam around, rock
Great.
on it. I was like, it's cool.
Now you and I are both Remo guys. Been there a long time.
Yeah.
Did you get into the color sounds?
I have not gotten to the color sounds yet.
Not the color sounds. Color.
The new ones that are just like colored. Yeah.
Color skin. Color tone. Color
Color tone. There it is. There.
Been
it
around
is.
forever. Remo color tones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried the red ones, and
Yeah.
I've been using the hazy black.
The hazy black. Yeah. That's interesting. Man, I guess I'm gonna have to check those out for the new kit.
Well, if you're gonna go crazy, you might as well go, and you can mix and match. Like our friend Daru Jones is like, he's got a green, he's got an orange, he's got a red. He's like, he just likes to vibe it out.
Does he call his kit Skittles? No,
it could be.
Skittles.
Could be. Or Rainbow.
Bite-sized fruit flavor candies.
Sorry, I didn't mean to give that little sponsor.
Skittles.
You're so nuts. Okay, so this year is going to be great for you guys. You got 23 stadium shows. And let's do the math on that. I think the average stadium show with Chesney is going to be about 80 to 85,000 people. So let's downgrade it to 80,000.
Yeah.
Times 23, you're going to play to 1.84
million.
Yeah. 1.8 million people.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Now, so Remo and Zildjian and Vader and Gibraltar and Mapex, they're all going to be very happy with that.
Absolutely.
Because that is grassroots marketing.
Absolutely.
That's what people say when kids are like, now, how do I know when I should go after my endorsement?
When
I'm
you're
like,
doing that?
Hey, you're playing in a circuit band in Fargo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mapex wants to see you on television.
Sure.
They want to hear you on the radio, and they want to see you doing educational events and then recording and being super active and maybe having a YouTube channel doing tons of covers.
That's where it's
They
at.
need exposure.
Exposure is the key.
So then you know.
Absolutely.
When it's that time when you have at least 1 to 2 out of those 3 things.
And you don't have to be in front of, like on a stage in front of 1.5 million. I mean, you could be on YouTube in front of 1.5 million.
Yeah, and even more.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just, if you're that good and you've got that kind of exposure, I mean, absolutely. I mean, at that point, you definitely need to have people sponsoring you and getting that product out there, especially stuff that you believe in. Like, I'm a firm believer, like if you believe in a product, that's where the main push should come from. Absolutely 100%. Don't just sell yourself to be selling yourself.
Yeah, when I go to DW, it's like, Redmond's here. I go in and I'm like knocking on doors. What's up? And then I film a video at Drum Channel, and then I knock out an LP podcast, and then I go down knocking on everybody's doors. What's new? What can I hit? I hug everybody, and then we're going to lunch.
Absolutely.
And
it's relationships.
I make a deal out of it,
You?
Yeah, make a deal out of it. Just if someone's going to open the door, just crack it, kick it open.
Oh, kick it open. Absolutely.
Kick it open. So
I like the story about how you got your DW contract. Your deal with them. You went out and got it.
Well, I visited the Ludwig factory. I visited the Mapex factory, and then I flew out to Oxnard and met with all the DW people. And it was just following the cues from the universe, because Aldine was on the cover of some massive billboard.
Okay.
And they had just, the Drum Magazine said, you're the best country drummer that year. And that all worked out at the same exact time that I was filming a video on the Drum Channel. So then Don Lombardi said, do you want to play DW drums? I said, yes.
You had that look in your eye.
You're all like, who wants me?
No, it was just a great time, and it just that relationship.
Yeah.
It's the relationships that will go on for life. I will never be anywhere else because I'm getting invited to these people's weddings.
Absolutely,
it's a beautiful, crazy thing. Well, I'm so happy for you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I think this is great. You're going to affect so many people in a positive way. Faith, Goals, Life. The website is SeanFullerDrums.com.
Yes.
Vader, Mapex, Zildjian, Gibraltar, Remo, probably Florida, Georgia Line.com has tour dates. And to follow Sean on the socials on Instagram, he's at S Fuller.
Yeah,
is that right?
S Fuller 1234.
I love that. S Fuller 1234 on Twitter. Sean Fuller rocks, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Faith Goals Life.
That's it.
Hey, we got to ask the random question of the show, man.
For sure.
What's it?
Is it random today or stupid?
I don't know. You always think they're stupid.
I know. It's okay.
Okay.
It's the random question of the day.
So, Sean, the random question. This is just, I'm on a site that's got random questions.
Okay.
And I think I picked a nice one here.
Okay.
What smell brings back great memories?
Wow.
Man. Okay, I've got it. All right, you know where the diner is? Down on, is it 3rd or 4th Avenue? It's called the Diner. It's called the Diner. It's open like 23 hours a day. Okay. Just down from that is this little barbecue place. Okay. And as you walk by it, when I was a kid, I went to my grandmother's house in Indiana, and there was she would walk us down. We would earn money or tokens, if you will, by doing work around her house.
Nice.
And so when we did that, she would walk us down to this place called Marx's. Okay. And it was a barbecue place, but it had like candy and all this other good stuff. Just, whatever it is that kids would love to get into at that particular time. That smell, when I would go to that place, I loved it. And I hadn't smelled it in years. And I remember going downtown to the diner to eat, and I walked by that place, and it was right there. And it was amazing. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. I hadn't smelt that in years. And so as soon as I smelt it, I was like, that took me back to when I was a little kid at my grandmother's house. You know what I'm saying? Like doing a little work around the house. And
she have a house here?
No, in Indiana. Evansville, Indiana.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it was super, super cool.
Yeah.
Did you think I was going to go with like a fart or something?
No. I mean, it's good memory.
That is
It's a good memory. It's a fun memory.
What did you learn?
Man, I learned that you could move to Nashville and you could shake a hand the first day. That could change your life. And sometimes it just takes a little bit longer. You got to kiss some toads. You got to let go from a couple of situations. You have to regroup, get new faith. Yeah. And then you find a group of gentlemen that change your life, change the trajectory of your life.
That's exactly right.
And I love it, man. Yeah. How about you? What did you learn, Jim?
I learned that real men change diapers.
That's when you put on the mask.
Bomb. You got to put the bomb on.
That's when you put the mask on.
Yeah. I don't use the mask anymore.
That's great. Well, no, you guys are parents, and you guys.
It smells like cookies in the beginning.
You guys are going to have people to change your bed sores and pack your wounds in the old folks' home.
That's okay. I'll be there for you. Because that won't be awkward at all.
No. If you truly think about it, you're changing a kid's diaper that many times, but then later in life they're changing your diapers.
One would hope.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. Of your 3 kids, who's going to take care of you?
I'd say probably Cammie or Hallie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the boys get eaten up by whoever they marry.
Oh yeah, because happy wife, happy life.
Yeah,
you go.
They get sucked into the in-laws.
Yeah, so. I've been there.
Yep.
Big time. Well, this was so enjoyable, huh?
It was.
Yeah, man.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Thank you guys for having me.
That wasn't your garden variety drum chat.
No, it was not.
I mean, we talked about paradiddles, but we really talked about some other heavy things.
I know. We got deep.
I tend to divert my audience into different categories, and
I love that. And that's why people check out the Rich Redmond Show.
There you go.
Guys, we really appreciate you. Friends, family, fans, keep coming back for the good stuff. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review. How do you do that? You go to Apple Podcasts or your favorite platform, you give us 5-star rating, and you say something nice about us. And that allows people to find the podcast easier. You can watch us on YouTube, or you could take us with you to the gym or on your commute. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. We love you. We appreciate it. See you next time.
This has been The Rich Redmond Show. Subscribe, rate, comment, and follow us at richredmond.com/listen.